guys, Itana is here with Blah, Deathagent, and Travkam, and we're going to talk about the latest update and the old version of Resident Evil 7's demo. So my first question for you guys, what the hell does the demo have to do with Resident Evil 7?
Well, Capcom's always been in competition with Konami with Silent Hill, but since Konami got rid of Kojima and really screwed the pooch on the Silent Hill reboot, I think Capcom's trying to really, stab that dagger in the side of their body and just twist it as hard as they can.
Yeah, it did look a lot like PT, especially with how you have to find certain items for things to happen.
I think it's more of like a prologue to what we're really going to go on, because
but it has nothing. It has nothing to do.
Hold on. Let's get a little bit more far fetched here. So with the teasers, these guys walking into this empty house, this shitty house that's all old and crap, and they're doing all this recording, and it just looks like nothing. It looks like they're doing ghost hunting, and it's all kind of fucked up. But in the first Resident Evil, they were in a mansion, and it was something that was, I forgot the specifics of the mansion, but
wasn't it like
it was actually a secret lab?
It was old timey, but I can't remember.
It was a secret lab.
It was. I assume that the mansion might be some kind of testing facility for some latent or remnant Umbrella Corp, if anything.
Well, the only reference to Umbrella Corp in the demo is the picture that's next to the phone and the woman who people think is Ada Wong on the phone. That's really it.
Have the devs confirmed that it has no relation to the current Resident Evil canon?
I think they actually said in some sort of official memo or whatever, or release to the public, that this is a sequel to Resident Evil 6. This is our current version. This is our progression here.
So they could be stopped going with the whole action horror theme that they've been going ever since they hit 4,
which I love.
Trying to rewind all the way back to 1.
Let's get back to the survivor horror.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for. I think they're trying to go for survival horror, and they're trying to make this look as vague as all possible hell. But they're probably going to throw that curveball that this is going to tie into the rest of the Resident Evil universe.
Okay, what do you think? What do you think, Agent?
Honestly, it reminds me of I'm trying to think. It brings back the memories of Resident Evil, the original one, and the creepiness, but it also throws in something kind of like the Devil's Rejects. It reminds me a lot of the Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, I could see that.
It feels more contemporary too.
Yeah.
A little less sci-fi, or a little less kind of biological sci-fi. They've been going through the last few iterations.
Yeah.
And so I think it kind of takes away that power fantasy that they've been exploring since 5. I guess 4.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like a Resident Evil game to me. I don't know if it's because we have to wait a few more updates, but I'm trying to figure out what exactly does Umbrella Corp have to do with the family that's in the
abandoned
house.
Testing facility
in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I mean, come on, think about it. Where else would they put it? In the middle of a city?
Well, Raccoon City was kind of desolate and kind of like an outskirts city, wasn't it?
Well, that's where the headquarters was located, and most of their lab work.
And then Resident Evil 6 sort of took everywhere.
A volcano.
We fought a zombie shark.
No, you had to fight a boulder. That was the ultimate boss fight.
When you think about it, it would make sense, because follow the way that Resident Evil 0 and then Resident Evil are set up. Mansions in the woods with secret underground testing facilities where no one is going to really bother you, and all you have to worry about is corruption from the inside rather than the outside.
So do you think that the family that was in this house got infected by something Umbrella Corp kind of put on their property then?
It could be something a little bit like here's a crazy idea. Did you ever see that movie? I believe it was the cabin in the woods, where these teenagers go into this cabin, and it's actually a setup for them to all be killed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just ignore the whole just ignore the whole bullshit of that thing. But imagine that this kind of mansion is in that similar status, except it's not. It's not meant for people to walk in and die. It was actually set up to like trick the family or something. If anything, the family either are part of Umbrella Corporation or we're just some.
Well, the reason I say they might be a part of Umbrella Corp is because you hear the guy literally say, "Welcome to the family."
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's kind of an anchor point for the game too.
Yeah, so either Umbrella Corp did something to them, because remember, they went missing for 2 years. This family went AWOL.
Wait, what was I think it showed a date with the game.
It was a recent year, so I think it's somewhere between 2014 to 2016.
Now we just have to find out the chronological order of which games take place in
my
years.
No, hold on. I'm gonna put myself on mute real quick and take a look at this.
While he does that, then I got something to ask you too.
Mm-hmm.
The dummy finger and the dummy hand. Where is that gonna take us?
You know, with games like this,
Well,
and
assuming with Capcom's silliness, it's probably gonna be some obscure like puzzle
Well, no,
piece.
like
well, that's my whole thing. The Japanese in general with their puzzle pieces have never been very conducive to just general kind of logic, sound reasoning, or anything that would make sense right away in a player's mind. They like to throw you for a loop.
Well, it's just that I remember in the newest update that there was like a cipher or something on the wall covered, like it said something about pointing to a grave, and you find it in the same place as you found the palm part of the mannequin hand. So, is it somehow going to lead the person to, or someone to whatever Umbrella Corp is hiding? Or...
It could be it could be like one of those dead end things where it's like it's a key to open up different, like multiple different locks to different endings or something, or different like areas or some like where you go into a booby trap, or because judging how the demos have been like set up and everything, and how they're going for that whole creepy horror survival horror vibe, they probably would set up something in that theme where it's like open up something, boom, something's right in front of you.
Well, that's another thing I'm wondering, because in the newest update of the game demo, Ada Wong, or whoever it is on the phone, I'm just gonna call her Ada because I think it's Ada. She said that some doors can be opened, but not at the moment. So it's obviously telling us that the demo is going to get more updates. But if it's really going to quote unquote point to a grave, is it going to take us through the door that's rotted, or is it going to take us into the basement?
If we're referring to a scythe always refers to harvesting or dying. So if there's some kind of like some kind of weird small farm like thing or crop or whatever,
they are in a small farm like thing.
Then it probably might lead them outside if anything. And a moldy door, mold is one of the biggest issues for most crops like wheat and stuff. So who knows? It could be like leaving them into a big open field through the moldy door, and it's just like this, you see this rotted up field from being poorly tended to or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the basement is just it's more end game than anything, so I feel like we'll probably see that towards the last update on this. And would they put out a clue like that this early when they're trying to foreshadow something like that, or are they going to give us a payoff sooner rather than later?
I think it's going to be something a little along the lines like you go outside, you think, oh wait, what's going to happen? What is this going to go? And they're going to like throw in a curveball. It's like, oh, surprise enemy. Not like some new enemy, like maybe something old to really screw with us. Like throw in like an old school Cerberus, the name for the zombified Dobermans.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple more things that I'm curious about. I'm concerned because I actually end up having to play this game sooner. I have to play this game. One of them is when you're in the videotape and Andre is telling Coke Guy, I'm gonna call him Coke Guy, the history of the house. They mentioned a kid. They mentioned that their son was a little bonkers. Where's the kid? Because the person that attacks you is the dad. I'm assuming that the zombie chick that you see in the end, if you do the game through your first playthrough, is the wife or something. So where's the son?
He could be a tyrant, which is what like like
Oh.
how Nemesis
Oh. Yeah.
or he could be a tyrant or some sort of like that, or I believe it was Resident Evil 2, or was it not Code Victory, but I think it was 2. The one with the train, and
Yeah.
I forgot his name. He was a doctor who was working on the K virus, I believe, and he started mutating everything, and he got the big old fat eye.
Well, I don't know if that would make any sense though, because Umbrella Corp is all about
doing
they're constantly
unethical experiments.
Well, besides that, they're constantly changing viruses, so I don't think that they
True.
would go back.
Well, I'm not saying like they're using old virus. I'm saying like they create a new virus
that sort of has many similarities with an old one.
Well, the thing is, they don't like make it from scratch. They would have to, try to mutate the older viruses or whatnot, whichever one they think would be their more appropriate one or more controllable one, and then they, throw it in there, see what happens. I mean, if you look throughout that, if you think about it, you run into the zombie dad, zombie mom, and the kid was weird, then that could be something like, who knows, the dad or the mother probably were injected with a proto version of the virus or something.
I don't know.
Unknowingly at a doctor or something, or maybe they did it intentionally. And the kid who was procreated with them, I know I'm making this out of my ass, but this could have some kind of like wild assumption could have some kind of relation.
So
you have the right following. Because Resident Evil
a kid procreated by two parents who were unknowingly infected with a new virus.
According to the prologue videotape, that was something like 2 years ago where they went missing, right?
Yeah.
And that's when the kid was apparently weird compared to these other weirdos whose house they're investigating. What if the kid is some sort of mastermind here? Maybe he's the weird one. He's the one pulling the strings and making all this creepy shit happen.
So you think he brought the virus from Umbrella Corp?
Maybe maybe he heard about Umbrella Corp, or he got he's some sort of conspiracy theorist or something like that, and started digging around into the old remnants or whatever.
Travkam, you were a genius. Okay, so think back to the room with the phone. There's a photograph of an Umbrella Corp helicopter, and on the back it says, "Are they watching us?" So do you think he might have gotten an idea, was inspired by Umbrella Corp to do something like that, and Umbrella Corp was like, "Yo."
This is right out of my ass as well, but that seems to track, and this kind of follows a lot of horror.
It would also explain why Ada would be able to contact somebody in the house.
She's always screwing around when shit goes south with Umbrella and stuff like that. Whenever
if Ada's around, shit's just gone down with Umbrella Corp.
It's not an unfair assumption. It's pretty reasonable as well.
Agent, what did you find while you were gone?
Only that the video apparently is listed as 2017.
Oh. Okay.
Which is several years after the outbreak in 6, which the outbreak in 6 was only targeted towards major city populations, so the only thing that you can think of is that this family probably is
the Fallout aftermath?
No, I'm thinking that they were the caretakers. The only thing that's out in the boonies in 6 is the church. So what if they were the church?
No, the church wasn't in the boonies. It was near the college where the virus started outbreak.
Oh.
And I remember this because I keep watching Jesse Cox and cry out to play the fucking game.
Then the only other thing that I can come up with is the opening part where the dude gets skewered. It reminded me of a boss you fought.
Well, I mean, but a lot of bosses like that in the Resident Evil series appear, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint which one he's most similar to, you know?
Lisa Trevor. Lisa Trevor is the only Resident Evil boss that disappeared off of the face of the earth after your third encounter because she fell into a supposedly bottomless crevice.
So you're thinking that it's the whole, if there's no body, they're not really dead?
Well, Lisa
Okay, I
is
found a
the
timeline.
original.
Oh, we got a timeline.
Okay,
Okay,
so...
wait, before we talk about the timeline, though, I got one more thing that I'm curious about.
Okay, so I'm going to list off the games in the order that they appear within the canon.
All right, let's hear it.
So Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, Code Victoria, Resident Evil 0, and 3 Nemesis happen within the year of 1998. Or, it's year the game was released.
I got it. Basically, chronologically.
And then 4 happened in 2000. And then Resident Evil 4 happened in... damn it, is this the right... I don't know which line I'm reading correctly. Wait.
Here, I got the correct order. Resident Evil 0 happens 8 hours before Resident Evil. Resident Evil happens 24 hours before Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 2 happens right after Resident Evil 3, along with Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. But then...
What about Code Victoria?
On top of that, File Outbreaks 1 and 2, and then furthermore you have Resident Evil full Resident Evil Code Veronica, and then Resident Evil 4, and then you have 5 and 6.
Oh wait, yeah, the time I'm looking at. So yeah, Resident Evil 1, 2, Code Victoria, 3 Nemesis, and Resident Evil 0 all happen within the game's year of 1998. And then in 2004 of the Resident Evil universe, Resident Evil 4 happens. Resident Evil Revelations happens in the year 2005 in the canon universe. Resident Evil 5 happens within 2006 and happens in 2006, then in 2009, or in between the two. Resident Evil Revelations 2 happens in 2011, and Resident Evil 6 happens within the years of 2012 and 2013. So if we're looking at a time,
little bit of jump skip.
So for Resident Evil 7, how many years did they give a vague range of?
2017.
Yeah, this one the demo happens in 2017.
So that's about 4 years later, after Resident Evil 6.
Let's step away.
By then, the outfall of 6 would have already been resolved.
Yeah.
Unless some of the people had gone into the boonies in order to try and escape it, not knowing that they were infected.
Well, that can't be right, because everybody who got infected immediately showed signs. The only one that didn't get infected was Wesker's kid. And that's because he had the antibodies.
That's because Wesker, I believe, injected himself with... Which virus did he inject himself with?
Not a clue. Just a virus.
No. In Code Victoria, he... I think it was either 1 or Code Victoria, Wesker takes a version of a virus.
Yeah.
It's 1. What he injected himself with is the G virus. But here's the unique thing. Wesker was bred specifically to bond with the T virus and any variation of it. Wesker injected himself after being skewered with the G virus, which bonded with the T virus and immediately gave him all of his super special abilities.
Okay, I feel like we're getting a little off track here. I mean, this is awesome. But going back to the demo, I got one more concern. The ghost girl. Who's the ghost girl?
Is it the girl who kills,
No.
who murders the guy in the beginning? Well, I know you're talking about the apparent woman we see kind of behind the windows and kind of in the shadows.
I think it's a different person.
You think so?
Yeah.
What gives you that impression?
I've only caught her a few times when I'm watching videos, but they don't look the same.
Okay.
I don't know, guys. It might be Lisa.
Stop. Stop. Silence.
I'm having having PT withdrawals here.
Oh no, I know. But there is another game that's sort of like the child of PT, but we'll get back to that later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the ghost in PT.
No, I know. No, I know. Trust me, I know. I was like crying when I heard PT. Okay, now going back to Resident Evil 7, guys. Come on. What do we think that this ghost girl represents? Because if I'm like thinking right, and I didn't play every Resident Evil game, so you guys can correct me on this or skewer me alive, there are no ghosts in Resident Evil.
Nope.
Not that I'm aware of.
So what the fuck?
There's never been any type of ghost.
So what is it just because she's giving us a hint that, oh, this is going to be Resident Evil 7? But if that was the case, then they would have probably taken her out in the latest update because everybody already knew. So does she serve a bigger purpose or something? Or
all right, you know what? Back to Blah's point earlier about, so the man says, the father, we're assuming, says, "Welcome to the family," right?
Yeah.
Or no, that was your point. He says, "Welcome to the family." Maybe this is something of a Silent Hill 2 kind of moment where the ghost girl are phantoms in the character's mind. You know, it's illusion. Yeah, and maybe it's the virus taking hold, or whatever's actually happening to this family. Maybe it's starting to happen to our protagonist for this demo.
And if anything, there could also, to even maybe back up that influence, there might be a tyrant of that specific virus that could cause that kind of issue. Because if you think about it, I believe it was some tyrants were like, were they able to control zombies? No, I can't remember. I don't know. No, I'm wrong. I can't remember. I think I might be thinking of a different series.
Physical based.
Tyrants are physical based. Okay, so
yeah.
But I mean, I know it sounds kind of dumb, like a telepathic mutation kind of like synergy kind of shit.
Well, I mean, it is the first game we're ever playing in Resident Evil that's first person, correct?
That is true.
So maybe this is the perfect opportunity to introduce something like that.
So do we think that based on it being the first person version of a Resident Evil game and the ghost girl, we're thinking that it's got this virus or whatever is, or maybe our protagonist has some mental issues?
That or it could be a giant fucking simulation.
True.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Capcom to pull that.
Not at all.
But Resident Evil, guys. I mean.
True, but you know, when I say simulation, I also want to make big implications of heavy influence of Umbrella Corporation or Remnants or some kind of facility where they could be running someone through that shit.
Well, if that is the case, then maybe if that is the case, and I'm gonna go with that, then the demo is really just a test run because the guy you play is kind of dead. Pretty sure the zombie chick killed him.
That, or another crazy, wild out there theory is that, you know, the guy is dead, but he could be running through a simulation not as, you know, a normal living person anymore. He could be probably mutated in order to keep him stable or something. They put him through a simulation, or maybe it's something less super friggin' dumb. Maybe he's like similar to the condition where Wesker's son, but it was something forced that was intentionally done, and he's just been running through this nightmare over and over.
How many of you guys are actually going to play this game?
Oh, I can't wait.
I haven't played Resident Evil since 5.
Travkam, so, I'm planning on playing this game, so if you want to come over and play it with me.
Oh, sure. Is it in Africa this time? What are we talking about? Might be the chick.
I may touch it, but I'm still iffy about the entire premise and the first person point of view.
I'm going to play it mainly because it does remind me so much of PT, and I'm hoping that it's really good. I mean, the demo is phenomenal. But I think I'm going to have to see more of the updates and see if I'm actually going to do it and actually understand what's going on, rather than play through it blind.
Yeah,
well,
Capcom,
not blind, more like I get it, but I don't.
Capcom has actually some really good writers. From some of their other titles, one of my personal favorites, one of the more recent IPs was Dragon's Dogma. Now, in that game, the story wasn't like, there's so much story to that entire game, but you have to put the effort to find it, to actually find the people, do the quests, and dig around and shit.
All I
But
know is that I'm super excited for this game. I'm hyped.
But if anything, they're probably using a series of vague, narrative stuff for the demo to give us just keep us in that state of what is this, what's going on, what's going to happen. So they keep, build up the hype. And if anything, they probably have a good reason to build up the hype.
I hope Leon has retired by now.
How old was he in was it Resident Evil 6?
Oh my god.
Even showing off?
Is
No.
he
Leon...
perpetually 24 years old?
Should have been about
Channing Tatum.
early 30s.
Okay, so
Dude, he's done. He's had his bout with the zombies.
He's gonna be 40 years old actually.
Yeah, he's done his time with the zombies. He's out. He has no reason. He'd be like, I did so many rounds with them. I should be out of here.
So in Resident Evil, his birth date is 1977, and Resident Evil 7 itself is in 2017.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be 40 something years old.
No, he's got to be.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be 40 years old.
He's got to be out of there then by then, right?
Since he's been fighting zombies for the last 20 years, do you think he can only get a job at the Circle K or something like that? It's not much of a resume.
I would think that he'd be like, nope, I'm done, and they'll be like, we totally get it, and then give him his fucking pension check and leave.
Pension? Oh man.
It says, sorry, Mr. President, I'm fucking done.
It just says that literally, the president will call him and go, we need you, Leon. He's like, nope, and he clicks and
We'll know for certain how old Leon is when the new Resident Evil movie comes out.
No,
I'm not talking about the live.
I don't care. I don't care. No.
Well, if anything, they might try and pull the whole reunion thing and probably drag as many living characters that were.
Oh, it's gonna be Resident Evil 6 in CG movie style.
Oh God. No, I mean
Here we go.
For 7, we aren't seeing anything too familiar. No familiar faces.
You're only seeing Umbrella Corp, Welcome to the Family, and Ada Wong. That's all you're really seeing.
I know the family thing seems kind of weird because I forgot what was the family that owned Umbrella Corporation or founded it?
Spencer.
Spencer? Let's see. Lord.
It was
Osmond
Dr. Marcus
Spencer.
and Spencer.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Agent on this one because this is out of my.
So there's Lord Oswald E. Spencer, Sir Edward Ashford, and James Marcus. After the discovery of the progenitor virus.
Yeah, the progenitor was originally found in Africa, and its first test subjects were leeches, hence Resident Evil 0, which talks about how it started, how Umbrella started, and why Dr. Marcus was removed, and why Ashford and Spencer were the main creators of Umbrella.
What do you think of this, Trav? The whole demo and it not connecting at all.
I don't have the breadth of knowledge that these other two have about the lore.
Neither do I.
They know a lot.
I'm literally on the wikis.
But what do you think?
Everything.
Do you think this might backfire, or do you think this is going to revamp the whole Resident Evil?
I think that's the key word is revamp. I feel like they're going back to their survival horror roots.
They're going back to what worked really well. In fact,
they're slowing things down big time too, which I noticed. This seems
kind of off topic, but it related to that whole idea. A lot of games are going back to their roots. Namely, Namco or Bandai Namco did the whole back to the roots thing by literally making a sequel to the original Digimon World. And Digimon World came out on the PlayStation in 1990 something.
Mm.
And this new one, which is already out in Japan on Vita, is coming to the US on PlayStation 4. Digimon World, Next Order, which is a literal sequel to the first Digimon World.
So excited! Sorry.
And then you have,
and from everything I've seen, it's doing everything the original Digimon World did, and I think That's what a lot of I think a lot of Japanese companies are trying to do that. I mean,
Do you think
Konami was going to do that. We
Well,
now see
take a look
Capcom
at
doing it.
New
Bandai did it.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think the Japanese market for video games has gotten a little bit stale, and they've been hearing that from their fans for the last, well, probably about 5 to 10 years now. And
But
I
it
think
doesn't mean they're not going to like add new
points.
things to old classics.
Oh, and there's no reason not to. And I think they're taking keys
Taking
from
things
these
that
other
work.
survival horror
Hey,
games
guys.
that are really
They're
helpful.
taking keys from the competitors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Guys, you do realize that this video has been going on for 30 minutes, right?
Oh,
Oh no.
So
too
everybody,
much knowledge.
so everybody, just get your final thoughts now. Is this demo gonna just create more hype, or is it going to become stale? What do you guys think?
The hyperbole must go on.
Stop. What do you
I'm
think?
on the fence.
All right. What about you, Trav?
I feel like taking the demo out of the main storyline, which this apparently is a really bold move, and I really like it. And I think it's gonna add to the hype because you're not gonna be able to see any of the finished gameplay that people tend to scrutinize in demos. So I think that's a perfect move.
I agree with Travkam.
I think it might be something a little more closer to home. I think they're going to try and stay within the well-established continuity, but they're going to execute it in a way that's going to appeal to everyone in a survival horror sense. They're going to try and take everything they've done now, but make it like execute it in a way that people wanted it. So they're probably going to they're going to deliver to old fans and new fans and people who just miss good old-fashioned bullshit survival horror.
Here, here. Good on you, Capcom.
I mean,
All right.
Konami already screwed that pooch. So, Konami screwed that pooch. So why not? Capcom would dive on that. No, swan dive.
Alrighty then. Well, this video went on a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
Well,
But,
it kept going all around.
Yep. Well, that's what the great thing about this game is. Alright, so thank you guys so much for joining myself, Blah, Deathagent, and Travkam, and I'm going to announce next week's review topic right here and right now.
Drum roll.
Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. I know Markiplier had got a hold of an early access key, and his whole series is wow. So, but as you guys know, the people in this review have first dibs if they want in or not. So, but let us know down below or somehow if you know how to get a hold of me. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are, and we'll see if we can get everybody back together and maybe have a continuous talk about the entire Resident Evil 7 series, because apparently these guys have a lot to say.
Like the roots of a tree, imagination will keep spreading.
Anyway,
Poetic.
Jesus
Yeah.
fuck.
So thank you guys so much for joining me on this. This was actually really cool to listen to.
Thank you.
It was awesome. So yeah, you guys
Thank
you guys get first dibs on if you want in next week's recording for Five Nights at Freddy's, and then I think the week after
How many titles
we
are that series?
might talk about Allison's Hallway, which is the child, quote unquote, of PT. But we'll see. So look forward to the next review, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Everybody say bye!
Bye.
Adios.
Bye-bye.